Origin of the universe. Introduction. Shufeng. Before many chemical elements were found, most of the chemists didn't know how many chemical elements are there on the Earth and their relationship. Dmitry Mendeleev had already made the famous periodic table of the chemical element, calculated the atomic quantity of elements, and showed us the relationship between them. The elements discovered later were all included in his table. The case has demonstrated everything in the universe has the order and laws. Some people say the universe is lawless and disorderly because they haven't found the laws and order. 宇宙的起源. Origin of the universe. All things within the time scope, including the celestial bodies and universe, have their origin, the birth time and process of development. The beginning and ending time of the universe, just as the and golden ratio, is mysterious and can't be reached by our wisdom. Compared with the wisdom of the greatest creator, our wisdom is just like a drop in the sea. I would like to share my knowledge of the beginning of the universe gained while my mind was in peace. When I am seeking what things in the universe are eternal, when I am thinking about the resurrection in the Bible, when I am meditating that the life is like a dream and all the four elements, earth, water, fire, and air of which the world is made, are void in the Buddhist scripture, when I am trying to figure out the source of Tao in the Tao Te Ching, when I ask myself why I would go to the mortal world, why we exist, and where we are going, I have known the beginning process of the universe. However, when I am delighted to think I have found the mystery of the universe, I suddenly realize that this mystery of the universe beginning was explained by the humans, the ancestors of Dragon Nation, 6,000 years ago. It is like a Mt. Everest climber, after reaching the peak after multiple difficulties, finds someone else has left his footprint on it. Thus, I am not bold enough to claim myself as the first one knowing the universe beginning. I only wish to add some details based on the wisdom of the past talents. The river diagram, the Book of Changes, and the Yellow Emperor's Book of Internal Medicine have told us the process of the universe beginning is Wuji generates Taiji, Taiji generates two polarities, the two polarities produce the four directions create the eight. Before the existing of the universe, it was Wuji. What is the state of Wuji? Wuji is the state of neither in nor out, neither big nor small, neither bound nor edge, neither null nor true, neither time nor space, neither material nor spirit. It is clear, chaos, everything and nothing. The detailed explanation of the state can't be completed even in a book containing 1 million words. I just want to stick to one point. According to the estimation of the paleontologists, the Earth was born about 4.5 billion years ago. Then where was the Earth before it was born? We can only conclude that it was in Wuji before it was born, just like the human beings. We were also in Wuji before we were born. Because the whole universe was in Wuji before it was born, Wuji contains everything. But where is Wuji? A thing without time, space, material, spirit, inside, outside, large size, small size, border, edge, firmness, or emptiness can only be described by the word shapeless and visionary. However, Wuji doesn't mean it contains nothing. Instead, it contains everything. It has nothing and everything at the same time. That's why the Diamond Sutra was profound and difficult to understand. For example, if Tathagata explains the laws, don't believe it. The laws can't be explained. If explained, they are not the laws or not the lawless. The Buddhism is no Buddhism. The name of Anagami is Bulai. But actually Bulai doesn't exist. So Anagami is called Anagami. The solemn Buddhist is not solemn. It is called the solemn. Tathagata says the world is not the world. So it is called the world. I should eliminate all life. After doing that, I found no life has been eliminated. And so on. If we don't know the origin of the universe, it is very difficult for us to understand the above Buddha words. If we can fully understand the above non-Buddha words, we will know the origin of the universe. Before everything was born, they were in Wuji. So Wuji means everything. We wish to take an example from the mythical novel Journey to the West to imagine the space in Wuji. Monk Tang and his apprentices entered the disguised monastery. The Monkey King was trapped in the gold symbol by the demon head. So how big or how small was this gold symbol? No matter how high or how low the Monkey King could transform himself, the symbol could change too following him. The Wuji space before the universe was born was in the state as the symbol. It was extremely large and extremely small. The space described in Einstein's general theory of relativity just refers to the space above mentioned. The size of the space is not decided by the energy. However, it is decided by the existence of matters. The more matters are transformed from the energy, the larger the space will be, and vice versa. If there is no matter, there will no space. It's the same as the relationship between the Monkey King and the gold symbol. The space in the symbol is decided by the size of the Monkey King transforms himself. The traditional science believes that space is like a box and the material is a particle in the box. When the particle disappears, space is still there. Nevertheless, space is not like that. When the particle is not there, space will disappear. Space is determined by the distribution of particles. Space will twist, swell, contract, or even disappear as the material and its energy change the size. How to understand the time in Wuji? Time is generated by the movement of objects. There is no time without motion. For example, a man is 40 years old because the cells in his body are splitting, moving, and dying. If the cells were not moving or splitting, he would not have lived till 40. A piece of fresh meat will rot in a few days if placed open to the air in hot weather. However, if we put the meat in the fridge, it will not rot in months. Why? The meat in the fridge has slow, even halting cell movement. When the cell movement slows down, the time of the meat is lengthened. And when the cell movement stops, the time of the meat disappears. If a man is never born, does he still have time? If the earth is not born, does the earth have time? If the universe is not born, does the universe have time? No. This is the time in Wuji. The core of the quantum mechanics is the uncertainty. Why? The time does not lapse evenly. The time is changing. So how can you obtain this certainty? That's all about my explanation of Wuji. Wuji generates Taiji. What is the state of Taiji? First, we have to know Taiji is generated from Wuji. Wuji is nothing and everything. It is everything because the energy existence in it can produce the material world. It is nothing because the energy in it is not material. It is chaos without firmness or emptiness. It is like the sky. When the sky is clear, there is nothing in it. But when it is cloudy, we can see the clouds and lightings and hear the thunders. Then there is everything. In Wuji, there is the intangible energy. The intangible energy, in contrast with the tangible energy, is moving irregularly. When the irregular movement, accidentally on a point, formed a specific order or symbol, the entire Wuji has formed a potential power arrow called the tornado, centered on this point. This potential power arrow, or tornado, is just called Taiji. Please note that the tornado is simply a momentum with only potential power. It does not have kinetic energy because it is not rotating. This is how Taiji is generated from Wuji. Taiji is in such a state. It is the one, amorphous, the unity without opposites, and an extremely large energy cluster. It is just like a locked reservoir containing billions of Pacific. The Taiji is just the greatest creator in common sense. In Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu said, "Chaos was born before there was the earth and heaven." Before the universe was born, something existed. This something is Taiji, the psychic energy of the greatest creator. Lao Tzu named this something as Tao because he confused the nature and psychic energy of the greatest creator. After understanding what Wuji is, we can understand Buddha and Buddhism. After understanding Taiji, we can understand Tao and Taoism. Taiji creates the two polarities. What are the two polarities? It refers to the phenomenon of opposition. For instance, in the state of Taiji, everything is the one and amorphous. But in the state of the two polarities, the intangible energy is shown up in a tangible form. The sun, for example, is an energy cluster. It has been transformed from the intangible energy form in the state of Taiji into the tangible energy form. So the energy is classified into the tangible energy and intangible energy. None and existence form the two polarities, namely, the unity of opposites. The contents of the two polarities include none and existence, firmness and emptiness, yin and yang, positive and negative, static and dynamic, left and right, up and down, exterior and interior, front and rear, high and low, noble and humble, hard and soft, big and small, strong and weak, dark and light, male and female, rich and poor, fortunate and unfortunate, gain and loss, merit and fault, more and less, life and death, true and false, good and evil, beauty and ugly, etc. They are the unities of opposites. Everything in the universe, as we know, is the demonstrations of the two polarities. Then how are the two polarities were born out of the Taiji? We have known that the irregular movement of energy in Wuji accidentally formed a certain order. All the energy, in a short while, formed overwhelmingly an intangible potential energy. If the potential energy is not given out, it will only remain latent like a paper-made tiger. However, when all energies gather at the central point, the energy center has changed its nature, just like the water will evaporate when heated to a certain degree. At this time, the energy center, or the nucleus, is no longer a kind of energy. Instead, it has become a special structure surrounded by great energies. When this structure is complete, the consciousness comes into being. It is just like a fertilized egg without consciousness. When it keeps absorbing energy in its mother's uterus and improves its structure, a conscious animal, human, will be born. The gathering of mammoth energies has led to the alienation of the energy center, resulting in a structure. The constant improvement of the structure ended up with the emergence of the consciousness, which is the symbol of life, birth. The consciousness gathering all energies then started the process of creating the universe. And it is the greatest creator. After the greatest creator is born, the energy in the Taiji began to move around the greatest creator's consciousness. We can also say that all energies move around the structure of the energy center. Just like a human body, when your consciousness tells you to urinate, the bladder door is open and the urine goes out. When you want to look at the sky, your head will be raised and your eyes opened automatically. When you want to have sexual intercourse, your penis is erected. After the greatest creator is born, the two polarities come into being. The celestial bodies show up, the celestial movement begins, the unlimited space is born, the time starts, and everything gets into the movement cycle of life and death. 6. The two polarities create the four directions. The two polarities have brought about the four directions. There is south, north, east, and west. There is front, rear, left, and right. There is life, growth, decline, and death. There is quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the function image. 7. The four directions create the 8 trigrams. Because there is south, north, east, and west, there are now 8 directions including the east, southeast, south, southwest, west, northwest, north, and northeast. The 8 directions are called Qian, Dui, Li, Jian, Sun, Kan, Jin, and Kuren respectively, forming the 8 trigrams. Each direction has its special meaning. Each direction has its different chance changes. Let's take a person as an example. If he remains healthy in the south, he might find it difficult to get accustomed to the north. If nothing goes smooth in the east, he may achieve success in the west, and the ugly duckling might become the white swan. Even grass will have different growth model and blossoming timing in different directions and locations. The permutation and combination of the 8 trigrams, Qian, Dui, Li, Jian, Sun, Kan, Jin, and Kuren, produce the 64 trigrams. The 64 trigrams are corresponding to the 64 factors in the universe. But as to the details of these 64 factors, because they are related to all the mysteries in the universe and hidden to the common people, even the King Wen of Zhou in the canonization of the gods didn't know all of them. And the most achieved Taoists in China only knew a few of the factors. Sakyamuni masters half of them, and Jesus only knows a few more than Sakyamuni does. We often hear people say, no disclosure of the heaven secrets. The heaven secrets are just hidden in the 64 trigrams. The permutation and combination of the 64 trigrams have caused the birth and death of all things in the universe. The things that you can't imagine are just the combination of 2 factors. The power of Jesus lies in his mastery of the formula of these factors. The birth and death of all things, the limitless mysteries and all changes and movements in the universe are hidden in the permutation and combination formula of these 64 trigrams. No coming, No going, the time-space ends and origin shows up. This is the brief process of the birth of the universe.